guys, last week we assembled the car. We got our wheels on there. We also got our breadboard, and I also showed you how to put the noggin on there with the sticky foams. So this week we're gonna explore how to program this thing to turn, to spin around, to go forwards, to go backwards. So basically all the navigation functions of our project. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, I have my code up here and then my robot right here. I got my USB cable plugged in here. One thing to remember guys, as we start coding, we got to make sure that the tools and the port is on a COM. If you need a refresher on this, I advise you to watch the install video on the website that could walk you through that. We are also using the Nano, so we want to make sure the board is Arduino Nano, and then this guy, it's got to be the old bootloader version. Alright, so going back to my code here, this is the code that we did a couple weeks ago when we were trying to experiment with the servo motors. Alright, I'm going to base it off this so we don't have to rewrite this code. The pin 2, this one sets up the button, this one sets up the light, and then we attach the two servo motors. Pin 10 and pin 11 control the servo motors. And if you remember, these two commands, they tell both motors to stop because 90 degrees and 90 degrees tell both to stop. And then going back to here, we have a conditional. It says if digital read 2 equals low. And if you remember, let me put this little here. If digital read 2 is low, that means that the button is pressed, okay? So if the button is pressed, the digital read 2 is low, do all this in here. You know what, I'm gonna actually get rid of this because I'm gonna delete that. I don't need that right now. And then else, do this stuff, okay, if I don't press the button. So if I press the button, do this stuff here. If I don't press the button, do this stuff here. Alright, so now I'm going to save this into a new file. I'm going to call this racer turning and stopping. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to write some code that's going to make my robot go forward if I press the button. Alright, so let's see, motor A, motor B. Let's first figure out, I wonder if this one here, is it motor A or motor B? Let's see. I'm going to say, if I press the button, I'm going to move motor A dot right 180. Okay, and then if I don't press the button, I'm going to take that same motor, motor A, and then stop it by going to 90. Alright, let me upload this. See what happens here. It's going, uploading. Okay, it's done. So when I press the button, let's see which one moves. Okay, so it looks like motor A. Oh, you know what? It's not working very well because I have an older board and I have to put in a battery right there. So that's okay. One thing to remember, guys, if you have an older board, your motors might not be working too well. So this is actually a good thing to happen live. Alright, there. Now it should be better. Let me press. Okay, see, look at that, it's strong. Okay, so when I press it, that means this one's motor A. That's why when I press it, it goes. Now, I want you to notice, is it going backwards or forwards? If this is the front, and this is the back here, it's actually going backwards. So, I want to go the other way, because I want to make it go forward right now. So I'm going to change 180 to 0. I'm going to upload. Now yours may be flipped from 9. but this is where you got to experiment, okay? So now it's going forward. Okay, so motor A is this guy. Let's move this one forward too. So I'm gonna say motor B dot right 0, and then down here motor B dot right 90. Okay, so when I press the button, I'm gonna set both of the motors to 0, and then when I don't press the button, I'm gonna set both of them to 90s, which will stop it. All right, let's upload this and see what happens. Okay, I want you to notice something. I said 0 here and 0 here. This one's going forward, but this one is going backwards. It's going this way. What's going on? The code says I said the same thing, 0, 0 for both motors. Well, remember the thing I told you guys. Sticker here, no sticker there. That means these motors are actually opposite from each other. It's a funny thing. So we can fix it though. Look, 0 and 0. So motor A was going forward, so we're good. Let's just flip this guy to 180 to go the other way, and then we should be good. So I'm gonna upload. There we go. Now look, both going forward. Sweet. Okay, so now let's say we want to go forward, and then we want to stop, and then we're gonna forward and then stop like that. So here, so these two make it go forward. Then I'm gonna put a comment here so I can keep track of what I'm doing. Actually put one here too, it's probably a good idea. So I'm gonna go forward, and I want to stop, and I want to wait for 1 second. Then I'm gonna go forward again. Then I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna wait 1 second. Okay? Now, I should also say I'm gonna go forward for how long? I'm gonna go forward for 1 second. Stop, wait for 1 second, and then forward for 1 second again. So now I have my comments here. Let's go ahead and put the actual code. I'm gonna do some copy and pasting. So these two things make it go forward. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna put it here. Oh, not there. Here. Boom. Okay. Now, how do I make it stop? You know what? Before I do that, I don't wanna jump ahead. This makes it go forward, but how do you make it go forward for 1 second? You gotta add one of these guys. Delay 1,000. 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second, all right? So it's gonna go forward. It's gonna do that for 1,000 milliseconds because it's just gonna chill here for 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second, and then it's gonna do this next command that we're gonna type. Now, how do you make it stop? Set them both to 90. Okay. And then we're gonna wait 1 second, which is this one. Then we're gonna go forward 1 second again, those two. And then remember, we gotta put a delay 1,000. And then we're gonna stop. I'm gonna copy that and put that there, and then delay 1,000. Okay, so I kind of did that maybe kind of fast. So I just want to go over this just to make sure we all got this. Okay, so we're gonna go forward for 1 second. That means I'm gonna do these two motors like this, and then I'm gonna wait here for 1,000. So what actually is gonna happen is these two things will execute, and then the motor will start going. And as it's going, the computer says, okay, just wait there for 1,000 milliseconds. So as it's going, it's letting it go for 1 second. And then it does these two, which will be stop both the motors. And then as it stopped, just chill there for 1,000. And then let's move forward again. and let it go. Let it do its thing for 1,000, and then stop, and then go ahead and just wait there for 1,000. And then what's going to happen is it's going to pop out of here. It's not going to do this, but it's going to pop out of here, come down here, and there's no more code, and then just jump back here, and then read, just keep looping. So nothing will happen again until you press the button again. All right, so I'm going to upload this, and let's see if we got this. All right, watch, I'm going to push the button just one time. It's going to do all of that. Forward for 1 second, stop. Forward, stop. It totally did it. I'm going to show you again. I'm going to press it. Okay, so I'm making some pretty good progress right now. Now, what I want to talk about right now is this thing called functions. All right, so a function is basically a list of instructions, and these lists help us do complex things. All right, let me say that another way. All right, more concretely. If you look at this, all of this is like a bunch of instructions. Okay. Now I want you to look closely. I want you to see, are there similarities between these functions? Are there similarities between these instructions? This little highlighted area. Well, I see a couple things. Check this out. That is the same as that. And this is the same as that. Okay? So what if I could combine those two things? I could do something like this. Check this out. Sometimes it's better just to show you, and then it just clicks. And then what I said, the confusing thing, will make sense. All right, so let's see. I'm going to call this thing void, and I'm going to make it's called a function, which is a list of instructions, okay? I'm going to call it void forward. And then I'm going to say, well, what 2 lines of code help me move forward? These two. I'm going to Control X this guy and put it in there. Let me fix the indents here. Okay, make it all lined up nice. That's forward. Okay, now what I can do, since I create this function called forward, I can just say like this. So when my code executes, it's going to say forward, and then it's going to say, my code's going to say, well, what's forward? I don't know what forward is. Well, because we created a function called forward, it's going to jump right here and say, oh, I need to do these two things. This list of instructions. Okay? You may ask, well, what's the point of that? Well, it's going to make our code look a lot cleaner, because check this out. We have forward here, and then we have the delay. Okay, where else do we have a forward? Right here. Right here. So I can just delete that and say forward. That's looking pretty clean. Okay. That's nice. Now let's do one for stop. This one and this one, right? So I'm going to do void stop. And this is how you got to make it, all right? You put void, you put this guy, the name of your function, and then you put these 2 parentheses and then curly brace, curly brace. Your instructions have to go in between curly brace 1 and curly brace 2. All right, let's go and grab these 2. And there it goes. Okay. And then let's put in our stop. There. Let's put in our stop. There. Okay. Now check out how easy our code is to read. I'm going to go forward for 1 second. I'm going to stop for 1 second. I'm going to go forward for 1 second. I'm going to stop for 1 second. You see how the way I just said it just rolled off the tongue? Like, it's just so easy. You don't have to even look at what is 90, what is 0, 1. You don't. It doesn't matter, because you have these nice functions here. All right. So let me upload this. It should do the same thing as before. Okay. Watch it. Same behavior as before, except much better code. Much easier to read. Okay. All right, cool. So now we can move forward. Now that I've told you about functions and you can see how they help your code look cleaner, I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna say, okay, let's go ahead and make a backward function and use it. Okay, so I'm gonna go void backward. And what is backward? It's the opposite of forward. So I just take this guy, copy and paste it in there, and let's just flip these guys, right? Forward is opposite from backwards. Backwards opposite from forward. It makes sense, right? So now if I wanted to just make some code that's going to go forward for 1 second, stop for 1 second, and then I want to go backward for 1 second, and then stop for 1 second. This is all I needed to do. All right, notice, guys, when I make functions and I want to reference them, I want to command them, this has to match exactly that. Okay? All right, let's upload. Now I should go forward for a second, stop, back for a second, stop. Let's see this. It is working. Forward for a second, back for a second. Okay. All right, let me see what happens if I'm gonna move this over here. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep it in view of the camera, but if I do this, it should go forward and then back. Let's see. Try again. I'm gonna try again. Okay, not bad, not bad. Now I want to add something. I don't know if you noticed, and this is a common thing, guys. When I press this, it's like it hits my hand. Okay, so when we start doing experimentation, we want to make sure that we can get our hand out of the way before it starts going, because then it just gets all messed up. Well, so how do we fix that? It's actually super simple. All we gotta say is, when we press the button, don't start right away, just chill out for a little bit and then go. So let's do that. Let's look at the beginning of our code. Right here it says if the button is pressed, so right before you do anything, let's wait, let's say it's 1 second, okay? So we'll press the button and you can get out of the way and then it will go. Let's do that. Okay, watch this. Beautiful. Okay, you notice my car is kind of like wiggling in the beginning and stuff. It might be because of this cable here. Another thing, guys, is down here. This is this caster wheel. If my caster wheel is kind of turned like it's like this or like that, it could cause different behavior when it first starts up. So just, it doesn't really matter right now, we're just testing, but if we're trying to go through an obstacle course, maybe before you start your mission, you turn your wheel so it's like facing forward like that, so it's not all weird like that. Okay, so there's just something to keep in mind. But for now we're just testing out, so it's okay. Okay, so I just made a routine to go forward and then backwards. So now, guys, what about spin? Well, if you guys were paying attention last time, I said if I have both motors going opposite directions, it's gonna spin. So I'm gonna create a function called void spin. Okay, and all we have to say is make them go opposite. How do you make them? Okay, so this is where we don't want to get confused. Remember, since the motors are opposite of each other, if I want to opposite in real life, I have to make it the same. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Because the motors are opposite from each other here, to code it to go opposite from each other, you have to put them as the same. All right? If you don't believe me, just try it out. And, you know, your brain might be saying, I don't get it, Coach Ed, that's confusing. You know, it'll take some time. It could take some time, but it'll start making sense, okay? So right here it's saying motor A is 180, motor B is 0, so they're opposite of each other here. That's actually not what we want. We want them the same. We want them the same as each other here, and then they're going to be opposite in real life, which will cause it to spin. See, I got almost confused there. Okay, so I'm going to say, when do I want to spin? I'm going to go forward for 1 second, stop for 1 second, backward for 1 second, stop for 1 second, and then I'm going to spin for 1 second. And I gotta always remember to stop. Stop for 1 second. Okay, let's do this. It's gonna go forward, backward, spin. Let's do this. Okay, totally tried to spin. Let me take that away. I'm gonna unhook my cable. Let's try it now. Okay. So it didn't have enough time to spin around. So I'm gonna have it spin a little bit longer. Let's say spin 5 seconds. How about that? Okay, let's plug it in so that we can actually upload. Okay, I'm gonna make it spin 5 seconds. Let's try this now. Okay, you can see it spinning, getting tangled. Okay. All right, so it's totally spinning, but getting tangled, no problem. All right, so I've showed you how to spin, and now I would like to leave you with a challenge. So the challenge that I'm gonna give to you is that I want you to write a void spin right and also a void spin left. Okay? So this one will be opposite of this one. Now I don't really know. Is this the right one? Is this spin left? Or maybe I flipped it. Maybe this should be 0 and 0 and 180 and 180. But I want you to go ahead and do that on your own. Make a spin right and a spin left. Okay, so I'm going to take this out for now. I don't need that. Okay. All right, so now that we have the spinning down, the last thing I want to go over today is how to turn. So one thing we need to keep in mind is that turning is a lot like spin, except we really need to time it out right. Okay, so imagine if you spin like this, and then you just keep going, it's going to spin in a circle, right? But if you spin for just a little bit and then stop, then it's actually going to just do a turn. So what I want to do is make a 90-degree turn. So the idea is that my robot's going to go like this, and it's just going to turn like that. Okay? I'm going to add in one other thing. So you're going to have better control, guys, when you turn if you leave this one stopped and then just move the other wheel. So it's going to be like that. Okay? So it's going to be kind of like spin, except one of them is going to be stopped, and then you move the other one forward. All right, so I want to turn like this, and I want to turn 90 degrees, okay? So it's going to be like this, and it's going to go, end up like that, hopefully. I'm going to program that. That's the last thing I'm going to program, and then you guys, up to you guys to try it on your own. Okay, so I'm going to make a function called void turn. This would be turning right. Turn right. All right, so what do we need to do? This one needs to be stopped. Do you remember what this one is? I think I do. I think this is motor A. So I'm going to type in motor A dot right 90 to make it stop. Now the one that I want to move is motor B dot right, and I'm not sure what number to put in there. Well, I want it to go forward this way, so I need to go forward. Let me think if I learned anything. This is motor B, I know that. Let's look at the forward. Okay, I have a forward subroutine that made it go forward this way, the whole car. So that's the same direction that I want for motor B. So let's see what motor B was for the forward function. So let's look for forward function there. Motor B was 180. Look at that. Okay, we can learn something. All right, we can take what we learned from the past and apply it to the future. All right, so we have motor B 180. So that means if I want motor B to also move the same direction when I turn, I also have to do 180. Okay. And then I have to say, how long do I want this thing to go for? Okay, how long do I want this thing to turn for? I'm going to say delay 100 right now. 100 milliseconds. Not very long. We'll see. And then I'm going to stop. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to get rid of all this stuff for now. All right. I'm just going to give it a turn right. So when I press the button, it's just going to chill for 1,000 milliseconds, turn right, and then that's it. Okay, let's upload this and see what we get. Okay, I think it's good. Okay. Okay, totally not enough, right? It didn't turn enough. So what do? I need to change the delay. Okay, so this is where we experiment, guys. I had 100. You know what? Let's try 500. Maybe 5 times. Oh, okay, problem because I didn't plug this in. Okay, everyone's bound to do that a couple times, even Coach Ed. All right, make sure you plug this in before you try to upload. Okay, it's uploaded. Let's try now. It should turn a lot more this time. We'll see. Now, I think it still needs a lot more. You know what? I'm going to do like 2,000. 2,000. Now keep in mind, because I have this little plastic sheet down here that may be causing it to kind of slip, and so my value right here might be different from yours. It really depends what surface your wheels are on, okay? So you can't just copy mine and have it work, all right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, I put 2,000. Let's see. You know what? Let me put my battery down here. Okay. That should help too. All right. All right, you know what? I'm going to add this paper right here. This should help my the traction issue I'm having. Okay. Okay, so now that I have it on the paper, it's turning way too much. So let me bring it back down. Let me tone it back down to 100. Let me try this. Okay, so way too little. Let me do the 500 now. Okay, check that out. It's like pretty close to 90 degrees. Let me do another one, another test run here. All right, I think it's pretty close, okay? So I want you guys to go ahead and here is your assignment. All right, so I have it turning right. I put around 500 is what I got to turn right. Your assignment will be to do what I have done here. I also want you, I'll put it up here. I want you to create a void turn left, okay? That's 1, okay? And then 2, I want you to program your car to move forward, stop, move backward, stop, turn left, stop. Okay? And then lastly, number 3. And on number 2, guys, whatever, if you want it to move forward for 1 second, stop for 1 second, or move forward for 2 seconds, stop for 2 seconds, either, whatever you guys want to do, that's good with me. The important thing is that you're able to make it move forward, stop, you can make it move backwards, stop, and make it turn left, and then also stop. Okay, the last one is to make your car drive in the shape of a square. Okay, I don't really mind how big the square is. It could be a really small square, really large square, but it's got to turn 4 times around the square. Okay. All right, so you have some tools here. Things are going to start getting interesting. If you have any questions, of course, reach out during office hours and we can touch base. Other than that, that's all I have for you today. Go forth, have fun, experiment. Hopefully you had a good time learning about how to make your car navigate. Now that you know how to drive, next week we need to think about how do we add eyes to our robot. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. It's going to be this thing, which is going to be the ultrasonic sensor, so that the robot is able to see obstacles so they can stop before it hits a wall or runs someone over, right? So we'll do that next week. For now, I will see you later.